A lot of people making the point in the Delaney's OK Tire and Langley
Lots.
inbox that spaghetti sauce is the equivalent of gravy or Alfredo sauce, and they're sauces or condiments, not sides.
Yeah.
Nobody's sucking back 2 cups of gravy. Oh, maybe they are. I'm not sure.
Some are.
Okay. Meanwhile, it is Friday. All of our guests today, including Thomas Drance, who's about to join us from the Atheltic, brought to you by Langley Chrysler. Don't struggle to find a great deal on new or used vehicles. When Langley Chrysler has over 200 vehicles on the lot, save up to $10,500 on Ram at Langley Chrysler, in-store or online at langleychrysler.com. Thomas Drance, happy Thanksgiving from the Atheltic. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Happy Thanksgiving to you, gentlemen.
Nice sweater. Looking good. Sharp. You look like Vin. You look like Vin Diesel today.
I've been branded many things on various guest programs or programs that I've guested on, but never a sex symbol until I joined the Donnie and Dolly show.
Yeah.
So thank you.
It's step up from Telly Savalas, Thomas.
Yeah.
You have to admit.
Vin Diesel, good guy.
Now we're going fast and furious. Let's do it.
Well, what stuck out for you yesterday is the Canucks lose to the Oilers last night.
Yeah, an awful lot, to be honest with you, Donnie. I thought the power play obviously scored a couple goals, which, you love to see it, especially because it was the first game with Hughes and Pettersson back. They factored into the scoring. I think that area of the game, Jason King just took over from Newell Brown. He's a first-year head coach. We know how much pressure the power play can come under in this market, especially with how much top-end talent this team has. A good start for Pettersson and Hughes. No surprise there. I think that's an area where the Canucks are going to be dynamic, fun to watch this season. The flip side of that, though, is this team continues to struggle to kill penalties. Mm-hmm. And, that's sort of something that at this point, they've given up, I think it's 9 goals in 7 preseason games, a kill rate under 70%. You don't want to look too much into preseason stats, but that's not where you want to be, especially having lost some really key penalty killers over the offseason in Beagle and Edler and Schmidt. And then coming into this season being without, the right-handed defenseman in Hamonic. Obviously that's indefinite, but, he was probably going to be the first guy over the boards when they were in penalty kill situations. Brandon Sutter, same thing. Tyler Mott might be the best single penalty killer on this roster. They're going to go into the season without those guys. That, to me, on a team level is a bit of a concern. On the individual level, by the way, I'd call out Will Lockwood continues to make a really strong case. I don't think he's going to end up making this team, at least not out of the gate, but boy, has he made a good case for himself to be the first guy up should injuries arise.
Number 7 is the focus of our poll question. You talk about PK. Nick Paton is getting significant time on the penalty kill and on the power play. He's got, I believe, 4 points in the preseason. What are Travis Green's plans for him?
Well, the thing I always look into a lot in watching Travis Green run a preseason and a training camp, Donnie, is who is he playing together, right? There's not a lot that you can read into like performance necessarily, special teams positioning though, and pairs, like guys who play together a lot is something I read into. For example, Jason Dickinson and Philip DiGiuseppe have been, attached at the hip all preseason. To me, that says a lot about what the Canucks' plans might be for one of their bottom 6 lines, most likely the 4th, to begin the season. Who's Nick Paton been paired with so regularly over the past little bit? It's been JT Miller. And that's a plum assignment. That to me, speaks volumes about his chances of making the team. Travis Green's obviously not going to commit to shaping his roster yet. He's still got a preseason game left. He's still got some practices. He's still got some time to make some final decisions. You'd expect him to use it, but Nick Paton, glued to the hip of JT Miller, suggests to me that he will be on the team and may even factor into a top 9 role to begin the season.
Thomas, let's go to that third pair D. Rathbone, Bowie, both again continue to play well. Where do you see Ole Juolevi? If he doesn't crack the top 6, Thomas, what do you do here?
It's a really tough one to figure out, especially because this team starts the season on the road, right? And in the United States, right? Like there's going to be a situation probably where you've got sort of a taxi squad level of American players who are like testing every day during the course of training camp because you need that negative COVID test in order to join the team, right? So you're going to have to be pretty careful, I think, about who you bring east especially with 3 games and 4 nights to open the season, right?
Right.
Wouldn't that give an edge to the guy who in a pinch can play forward in Brad Hunt if you're looking at a 7th guy?
Yeah.
We've seen what Jack Rathbone can do. I thought he played well again last night. There haven't been too many adventures in his own end. Like, I think if there's sort of one thing that Jack Rathbone's game hasn't quite, been up to the level that it was toward the end of last season, it's just been like puck control issues here and there. But with a player as skilled as Jack Rathbone, you don't worry about that. You're more looking at solely his defensive play. When it comes to Juolevi, I think he's played well in preseason. I actually think he's managed to put a training camp, which was subpar, clearly, in the rearview mirror. But is it enough to supplant a versatile guy like Brad Hunt and a really dynamic player like Jack Rathbone, who the team has given 6 games to, like every shot to blow the door down? And I think he's been successful in those 6 games. That would be my gauge on it. I don't know. I don't think it would be a surprise at this point if we saw Olli Juolevi hit waivers in the next 3-4 days.
Well, speaking of which, Tom, sorry, Rick, but as we wrap up here, very quickly, your reaction to Jonah Gadjovich now being a member of the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah, a worthwhile bet for the Sharks. I thought there was material risk there for Vancouver placing him on waivers. When you look at the size, when you look at the unique profile, he's built like a Langley Chrysler.
Very good,
so,
very good,
yeah,
very good.
You're welcome. So when you think about what he can do at the net front and then look into the fact that he completely changed his body, the discipline and character that it takes to have the type of offseason he had, I was wondering, I thought he was probably slightly more likely than not to sneak through waivers because there's not a ton of scouts north of the border at the moment. He only got into 1 televised preseason game. There weren't a ton of viewings. And when you send a guy down early, as the Canucks did, you do sort of maximize to some extent your chances of getting him through. It just wasn't to be. He just has too much pedigree, too much of a unique profile. And Bob Bugner, the coach down in San Jose, was familiar with him from his time in the Ontario League. So
100% why they took him.
I just thought, there's my dog. I just thought excuse me. I just thought there was, an opportunity that he probably should have been provided, in my opinion, to play with a caliber of player above, an AHL bound guy in Chase Waters and an out of position Matthew Highmore before they took that material risk. Obviously the team disagreed, but considering, I just talked about, Nick Paton in the top 9, I won't be shocked if we see Alex Chason in the top 9.
That's right.
Philip Giuseppe will probably be in the lineup. Guys like Justin Dowling. And look, good veteran players, but is this team so good that you can afford to risk losing a 23-year-old power forward with a unique skill set, a world junior championship guy, a 2nd-round pick just a couple of years back, in order to play those types of bets? Is this team at that stage where they can focus that narrowly on the short term? For me, the answer is no. And that was sort of why I was a little bit befuddled by his handling throughout this training camp and preseason.
Thomas Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox. Forget Vince.
Vince Diesel.
Yeah. Drance looks like Jason Statham. That's
wow.
Statham.
Man, I love coming on this show. You guys are so nice.
Yeah. Look at this.
Look, we're building a roster of gentlemen who are much better looking than me. I love it.
We're building the all bald team, and we almost got the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Statham is good. Statham is good, by the way.
But we to the 5th member though, it's got to be Getzlaf playing center.
Oh yes,
Very good. Yeah. Hey, go take your dog for a walk. Thanks, Thomas.
I will. Thanks for having us both. Cheers.
No problem. Thomas Drance, The Athletic again. Oilers and Canucks wrap up the preseason for the Canucks anyway. Saturday at Rogers Arena.